Hello, Internet family. This is Anjanette Potter, also known as Adam's Rib, and you are looking at Fridays Live at noon. So, I'm sure by now you've all heard the R. Kelly verdict. I personally am knowing that the underage girls of Chicago and everywhere else that R. Kelly has a place of residence are a little bit safer. They're not 100% safe because, of course, there are other weirdos out there that like to take advantage of underage girls. But at least we have one less person off the street. Now, one thing that I find a little disturbing is the number of people who want to come after the quote accessories, who they feel like, well, he didn't act alone. Well, no, he didn't act alone. But let me explain a little bit about life choices and why you should be careful who you decide to mix with. Many people, like R. Kelly, like to involve other people in their dirt. And so they will be the people who know about stuff that you've done and keep it secret for you. And really the secret is not a secret, it's a way to blackmail you. Excuse me. Also, there are the people who are willing to buy you off. You know stuff about them, you know stuff that they have done, and because you have knowledge, all of a sudden, that knowledge that you have turns into opportunities for you to be able to work, to be able to add to yourself if you already have stuff that you're doing, and like say what I'm doing now with online ministry. If you're a YouTuber, they may arrange for you to have more followers. Or they know about other career goals and ambitions that you have, and all of a sudden that becomes something to reward you on. They may open up doors for you, but those doors are open based on your ability to keep quiet about their deeds. So when people are talking about that, those are the people they're talking about. People knew, the parents knew, this, that, and the other, and guess who else knew? R. Kelly knew. And rather than take the money and resources that he used to keep other people quiet or keep them cooperating, instead, he used his money and resources instead of going and getting help. He chose to use those resources to buy people's silence. And unfortunately, that behavior is just not a thing that happens in the entertainment industry. It happens in any industry where there's an overabundance of power and resources to be had, where people get wealthy and powerful enough that they can buy people's silence or their cooperation. I saw where D.L. Hughley, comedian D.L. Hughley, talked about the differences in sentence for Ghislaine Maxwell versus R. Kelly. And let me say this. Think about how long their behavior think about their victims. Think about how long their behavior was permitted to go undetected, fly under the radar, or people were bribed, as I just mentioned, into being silent. You know, one of the reasons one got a certain amount of time and another one got another certain amount of time is you have to think about the whose jurisdiction they were under. So, unfortunately, in the U.S., we do not have a uniform structure when it comes to sentencing guidelines when it comes to crimes. And it also depends on it depends on the state. It depends on whether it's a federal or state crime. It depends on a whole lot of different factors as far as where sentencing goes. I personally am not in the mood to be emotionalized by someone saying, well, how come he got less time? Or how come she got less time than he did when she did blah, 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 blah. Both these people were complicit in crimes that were very, very damaging to young people. At this point, I don't care. I care about the fact that she probably should have gotten more time. I watched the docu-series Chasing Ghislaine. And to be perfectly honest with you, this is the kind of woman that if you didn't know about the stuff that she was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, you would have thought, hey, you know, this is somebody I could be connected with and blah, blah, blah. Unless the Holy Ghost was giving you a heads up and said, don't you hang with this. And I have had those times where I was like, well, they seem to be, and then you find out later on why the Holy Spirit told you to, you know, exit stage left. So far, I've been pretty protected. However, so far I've been pretty protected in that realm. Although the last little interaction, I'm still kind of going through things based on it. And that is the church that I left, that I've been talking about here lately. So, I've also been seeing this viral tape that has been going around. It's rumored that the tape is the tape of a woman who does a lot of prankster type tapes on social media. So the scenario is, and I've seen the scenario put out, and like I told a woman here lately, I'm kind of disturbed at the fact that most of the stuff that is being put out here lately by men, and most of the stuff that men are saying to women lately, does not have the hint of, I see you, I'm attracted to you, I want to get to know you to see if you are a person that I can build a life with. It has more trickster test stuff involved in it. And it's like, let me see how much I can get away with on you. And to me, this tape kind of rings of that. Seeing how women respond to this scenario. And then most men that are involved in this aren't really treating those women any better than they're treating any other woman. So the scenario is one where the guy shows up with McDonald's, but he only shows up with McDonald's for one child. Now, a little bit of background. The woman has 4 children, but only one of the children is his. And so he comes with McDonald's, but he only comes with McDonald's for his child. Well, let me give you the breakdown of this and why. Once again, it's the mindset of how much can I get away with and stay your man. Okay? And how you as a woman respond to this tape is supposed to give men a clue into what kind of woman you are. Now, let me give you a little bit of my background. I am an only child, but I was not my father's only child. I found out that I had a half-sister who passed away, so I never really got to meet her. So, out of my parents are divorced. They've been divorced since I was about a year and a half, maybe. And they, so I've dealt with this scenario to a degree. My mother dated, both my parents dated, and both of their significant others pretty much, gifted me. I was just recently, when I did the, oh, by the way, tonight I will be doing a live broadcast. It will be the kickoff for July. It will be the kickoff for the 4th of July weekend. Ooh, excuse me. I hate to lose my manners right here on camera. But it will be the kickoff. I'm putting together the playlist right now. We are going to be doing more cookout music, but my own special brand of cookout music. So, Eclectic Music Geek Podcast will be going live tonight at midnight. If you wish to listen, you want to go to the Station Head app and download it on your phone. It is available on iPhone and Android. You also can go on your computers and type in stationhead.live/AdamsRib66. That's my station. You have to excuse my eyes. I'm like looking at myself here. Whew. Brighten up a little bit. Once again, this is not a mukbang. I have a tendency to like to go ahead and, grab me a snack. while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. Kind of make it a little bit casual. Um, I've been eating a lot of fruit lately, and I like that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Because of my own background and my family being very inclusive, to me, I'm like, why would you bring McDonald's for only one child? Knowing that she has three other children, and you've been in a relationship with her, it's not like you don't know her other kids. But as I watched the film a little bit further, and I'm like, well, if her food stamps don't come until a particular time, why would you bring McDonald's? Because that's only going to hold that kid over for one meal. Why wouldn't you go ahead and just give her grocery money so she could buy all the kids some food that would hold them over for at least a few days? But the purpose of this is not, it's really to play on the average woman's sense of fair play. Well, he only has one kid there, but he knows she has other children. Now, some of this stuff that I keep hearing here lately kind of disturbs me because, and it's really out of the church group, the denomination that I left. And it's almost like there's no fathering spirit anymore. There's also no mothering spirit. If I came to your house and I bought only enough for the child that I have there, but I know you got other kids. My daughter's in a similar situation where she has children with a guy who has two other kids. So part of the year, it's just the three of them. But like now we're in the summer, so we're in the part of the year where he has the other two babies. Me and my mother have taken the three of them places and been very supportive of the children that are not related to us biologically. In fact, her other two children call me grandma too. And I never stopped them. And I never stopped them because I never wanted them to feel like it was okay for her one son to call me grandma, which I'm actually his grandma. I'm her mother. But I never wanted, and I've known about them before she had her baby with him, when she had the baby that they had together, grandma's G baby. And I was kind to them. I've always been the type of person who believes, if my children are doing something that isn't terrible, I will support them in it. I believe that support helps them do a little bit better. Whatever help I can offer, cool. And so at least two of my uncles have married women who had children that weren't biologically theirs. So I belong to a very inclusive family. So that's a very foreign thing to me, that you would bring McDonald's for your child, but not bring for the other four. So now they get to sit there and be resentful that their brother or sister got McDonald's and they didn't. Not only that, you can see how it's driving a wedge between those kids, with those particular children. So being a mom, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, if you listen to the video, she says, well, my food stamps don't come until blah, blah, blah. And this, that, and the other. I said, okay, well, that's also even in my household. McDonald's was always a bit of a treat food. meaning that it was not something that we ate every day. Because I myself have gotten food stamps in the past. Food stamps are to buy food from the grocery store. And all I could think, because I am a grocery shopper, was that one little meal isn't that if she talking about how she is, her food stamps don't come until a particular time, and they need food in the house. That one little meal was not going to do nothing, not even for his child. If anything, he should have called her and found out if she needed anything from the store, and let her tell him what she could use until her stamps come, or until she gets paid, or whatever your scenario is. So this tape is not for those that are thinking rationally. This is for a man to be able to try to get away with not treating your kids that you have prior to your relationship with him fairly. Okay? In the game of dating, like I've said in the past, the second that you hear the phrase, "they ain't none of my damn kids," you need to run as quick as you possibly can. Head for the hills. Run like somebody put fire up under your behind. You need to run faster than a cockroach that has had a lighter stuck to their behind. And I will tell you why you need to run. If a person's response to your children is, "they ain't none of my damn kids," that is a person that is more likely going to make your children's life hell. If you have ever been in a situation, and I know there are members of my family who have, where your mama had a boyfriend that didn't necessarily treat you good, it is a very nightmarish situation. And, it's in keeping with what you are hearing with some of this stuff with Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly. Now, I'm not saying that every situation like that means that the person will sexually molest your kids. I wouldn't go that far. But it isn't looking good for your kids. And I'm sorry, to me, to love you is to love your children. Okay? Anybody that's going to be in your life. If I'm going to be in a man's life and I know that that man has however many children, that I need to be prepared to be able to treat his kids good, have a welcoming attitude toward his children, be good to his kids, because they're people. Like, how do you figure that you should be able to get in a relationship with somebody? Well, we're not together anymore, and we only had the one child together, but you knew about these other kids. It's not like you were there and the kids, she didn't have custody or whatever the situation is. You knew them kids were there. Okay? You knew that them kids were there the entire time you dated this person. It didn't work out for whatever reasons. It didn't work out, but you managed to make a baby with her too. If you are going to partner up with people who have children, male or female, then you have got to be the kind of person that is okay with being a mother figure or father figure, or a bonus adult figure in the life of someone. Our vice president right now is married to a man who has children that are not hers. Can you imagine her saying to her husband, can you imagine her saying to his children, "they ain't my kids"? And the funny thing is, it also shows you along the lines of gender, how each biological sex has different expectations lobbed onto them. Women are expected to be charitable, nurturing, submissive, giving, and all this other stuff. But when it comes to men, I don't know what it is, but some of y'all need to go back to expectation training, or some of these men need to go back to father training. I don't understand people who date people who they know have children and like don't have no kind of charitable attitude toward the kid. I have friends who have kids. I'm a cis woman, not a lesbian, and I still would have enough sense not to bring food or anything else into their house and not be inclusive of their children. So if I can be that way and I'm a platonic friend, like I said before, I think sometimes as women, we have more expectation from our friends than we do the men that we call ourselves coupling up with. Because I see the men being a little more, I have a term anymore for some of these men, and it's called shadow men. You don't know their names, but you see all the effects of them having been, and they're usually negative effects, of them having been present in somebody's family. Whether it's a group of sisters, whether it's a group of cousins, whether it's a group of, if it's a group of females, you see the shadow men. Okay? And the shadow men usually have, like I said, outsiders may not know their names. But anybody that's been a part of that structure, they've either left some type of trauma behind, or they've left children behind, or you feel the effects of them having been there. You see the effects of them having been there, even though you don't know their names and have never met them. You see the trauma that they leave behind. You see the children that they leave behind. You see the debt. You see the effects of them having been a part of that person's life, even though and they never stick around. And I'm a little sick and tired of shadow men. They're not welcome here. I also have been looking at here lately, as I said before, if you are a Bible scholar or Bible teacher, you really need to look at the docu-series. I'm also seeing a lot of information about Elvis. So, as many of you know, I went to see the Elvis movie over this past last week, and it was a good movie. It really had more to do with Elvis's relationship with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. And there were certain things about the King of Rock and Roll I never realized that he never, like now, tours, like international tours, are almost part of the kind of come with the whole territory with music artists. But back at the time when Elvis was, career and everything was going, he never went out of the United States. And I was like, wow. So I'm not going to go into too much because I do plan on doing a podcast and not doing a review so much as a commentary. Because, like I said before, whoever got this movie together, I'm like, sound like they were listening to Eclectic Music Geek because they mentioned a whole lot of people. Because if you have listened to me any amount of time, you know that I did a thing on rock and roll. And I talked about its origins. I talked about the fact that rock and roll is a musical art form that is primarily influenced by gospel, black rhythm and blues, black blues, jazz, and a whole bunch of other musical forms. And so at the time that Elvis entered the scene, there was a term called race music or race records. And so race records were records or music that was primarily aimed at black people. And like I said, when you think about the terms that are, even the term rock and roll itself, which I think was supposed to be sexual intercourse. So you also see how racially polarized the country was. You also see that pretty much everything that's surrounding black people was hypersexualized. Hence the term rock and roll, but also the very real fear that rock and roll was a corrupting influence. Now, where have we heard that before? We've heard that used to describe hip hop. Okay, so it's going to influence their children in a wrong way. And really what they were afraid of is it might incite black people and white people to start marrying each other. Okay? Because we're in 2022 and interracial marriage is still a really hot thing. So I'm going to talk about that in my podcast, and I will podcast this week, I promise. But tonight I am going to be doing a live. It is the kickoff for July. July is one of my favorite months because it is the month that I entered the world. I tend to celebrate it for a month because my actual birthday is July 20th. So my actual birthday does not occur until later in the month. And so since I like to get things kicked off a little early, I'm kicking it off. This is the kickoff for July 4th. This is also the kickoff for, my month of birth. And I haven't decided what the theme will be. We celebrated freedom for the black community last month when we celebrated Juneteenth. 4th of July, I think, like, for a lot of black folks, especially way back when you think about, in terms of 4th of July and Juneteenth and all of that, for many black people, it might have been just an extra day off because it wasn't really when we got our freedom. But I'm not going to hold anything against you if you cook out, or you celebrate this weekend. I am not holding nothing against you. I may do my own celebration. Here in Columbus, we have Red, White, and Boom. And I'm wondering if they're going to have the Boom this year or not. I'll have to look. If I see that they're going to have it, then I will, announce my own self. But let me see here. Because this is the first. Let me look at my little calendar here. So the actual 4th is going to be this Monday. I will be doing I will do a live. I will do a Monday afternoon quarterback. And I'll find out, I'm sure, if they do the Boom over the weekend. I don't know that it's tonight because I haven't heard anything. More than likely, it's probably going to be Sunday because they usually do the Boom the day before the 4th. because every other central, what they call Central Ohio, every other like Whitehall, Bexley, Grove City, all the other surrounding areas tend to do their fireworks on that day. So Columbus as a whole tends to do theirs the day before. So we probably will be getting the fireworks celebration. You know what? A good way to find that out. I see me on my own television. See new to you. Okay, let me look here. Searching news. Anyway, if I find out anything, iPhone is officially 15 years old. I'm gonna have to look at that one since that's the one that I have. But whatever, if I find out anything about the boom, I will talk about it tonight on tonight's show. I haven't heard anything about Red, White, and Boom. Well, let me look here. I haven't seen anything about it being tonight. But that doesn't mean that it's not. And plus, I can always go live. One movie that I'm anxious to see is The Black Phone. Boom. I'm going to have to put Columbus, Ohio in here. Okay, so let me see here.
I remember going to the apartment. I thought we were guilty. When they said that we weren't, I was surprised.
The clock is ticking. We are one day away until Red, White, and Boom. And we thank you for joining us for NBC4 at 5. I'm Jennifer Bullock.
And I'm Brad Johansson. It is officially 5 p.m. That means you can now head downtown. You can grab your spot for the biggest fireworks event in the Midwest.
After you watch NBC4. NBC4's Carissa D'Agostino is live downtown, where she spoke with one woman who has been there since before noon today. Carissa?
That's right, Jen and Brad. We spoke with one Red, White, and Boom goer who's scoping out a spot for her 6 children and 12 grandchildren. Seasoned Red, White, and Boom goer Kim Starr made sure to get downtown early with supplies in hand, ready to get a spot for the fireworks spectacular.
And then I bring my tape, and then I'll tape it up around, you can't put any stakes in, so you put it around the poles and the trees and so forth. And I have a shaded area here because I have 12 grandchildren and 6 kids.
Co-executive director of Red, White, and Boom, Sean Baroff, says they're expecting people to stake their claim and stay the night.
There will be people camping tonight. There will be people sleeping in the parks. And we
was yesterday.
Have overnight security. We have, CPD is all through the area. So it's a safe kind of once a year kind of thing for people to do. But yeah, there will be lots of people down here spending the night.
Star is one of those people.
And I have all my stuff from hiking, so I blow up my air mattress, I have my sleeping bag, I'm all ready, my tent, I have it all set up, so this is like being on the trail, so.
The beauty of this annual event, watching everyone come together even while trying to secure their spots. Something Star can attest to.
Other people will come and they might set up areas around and they don't stay usually. And then they'll say, can you watch my things? Oh yeah, I can watch your things. And, and then if they come during the day at times, then it lets me go to the restroom or go to the car and get anything else.
Star says she's looking forward to getting to reconnect with friends she's made at Red, White, and Boom throughout the years. And as you can see behind me, people have clearly already started setting up their tents and their tape to block off their spots. Now rest assured, if you're planning on camping out tonight, Baroff says CPD will be throughout the park in addition to overnight security. Local for you in Columbus, I'm Carissa D'Agostino, NBC4.
We'll light the fuse in T-minus 2 days. The city's most grand fireworks celebration returns Friday night. Red, White, and Boom will light up the night sky.
Okay, so it'll be
Central
tonight.
Ohio after 2 summers off.
So one of the big questions on the minds of many people is how to keep the hundreds of thousands of people safe for this event, because they are all in one small area.
Yeah, we can tell you collaborative effort with this. And 10 TV's Tina Ramos joins us from downtown Columbus with more on one agency's role to keep everyone safe. Tina?
Yeah, and Clay, we can tell you this is the biggest event for the city of Columbus that they have to deal with all year. You can see behind me, see the fences and the road closed? Well, it's just back behind there where the launch site will be for Red, White, and Boom. And they'll be hosting 500,000 people into the downtown area. And of course, when you have that many people, you have to think about security. And we can tell you, Columbus Police.
So it will be tonight.
Matter of fact, they've been in the works for these plannings for months now, trying to prepare for this event here, patrolling the downtown area. And you also have to remember that this event went silent for 2 years because of COVID. But now that it's back, security will...
So like I said, I wasn't wrong. I was just, okay, so it's going to be tonight, which is about right. We tend to do things a little early. Like I said, the rest of the areas will be doing their fireworks and everything, so we're going to be doing it tonight. So so if you decide to go, I haven't decided whether or not I want to go or not. I think I'm going to call my daughter and see what she is doing with the little peoples. But whatever you are doing over this weekend in whatever city you're watching me from, enjoy your celebration. Like I said tonight I will be broadcasting. I will be doing Station Head at midnight. So all the festivities, people should be driving on the way home by the time I go on the air. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your 3-day weekend, because I know some of y'all are like me. Whenever I would be in a job and I wanted to get that time off, I usually would ask for, I would say probably, if you're like me, then you ain't going back to work until the 5th. Or if you really like me, you may not be going back until the 6th, so that you can sleep off the 4th. Okay? So whatever you get into, enjoy it, be safe, enjoy your families and loved ones, and I will see you tonight at midnight. Have a good one.